Hi, my name is Nikki, and my husband and I and our children are going to go be missionaries. So, I just wanted to share with you a little bit about how we started. We learned how to surrender to God and then eventually hearing His voice. Um, so, when we were first married, I asked my husband, when can we have kids? Because in my mind, we were behind schedule. I wanted to be married by the time I was 20 and then have like 3 or 4 kids by the time I was 25. So we got married. He was going to be 23. I was turning 24. And he told me in a year and a half we can start trying to have kids. So a year and a half came, and I was working as a hairstylist. He was working as a CNA, trying to get hours so he could apply to PA school. So I said, hey, it's a year and a half. You said we could start trying to have kids. And he didn't feel comfortable with that. He felt like he needed to have like a better job. Um, and I was like, you said a year and a half. And in my mind, I was like, listen, we're not, it's not like we're traveling. We don't have money for that. People make it on next to nothing. We can have kids. We'll be fine. Our kids do not need a lot. And so um I was really bugging him, and he was not appreciative of that. So he finally said to me, "Can you please just pray about this?" And I said, "Oh, I'm going to pray about it." So I started praying about it. But of course, my prayers were, "Oh, dear Jesus, please, change the desire of his heart or change mine, take this desire away from me." Like, I really wanted to have kids, and I wanted to have them young. And uh, so when I started praying, I stopped bugging Teddy and I started bugging God. And so I was bugging and bugging. And of course, nothing was happening. And so finally I was like, God, you know what? And I said these words, and I'm sorry if this is offensive to you, but I said, God, if you can get the Virgin Mary pregnant, you can get me pregnant. And I just let it go. And I was pregnant that month. And I was just in awe. I was in shock. I remember I was like one day late, and I was gonna go take a test, a free test at the women's clinic. And I go in there, and I looked young. I was 25, and I probably look like a teenager. But I go in there, and they said, "Yep, it's positive." And I was like, positively negative? Like, I couldn't believe it. And I just started crying and crying and crying. And they were like, is this a good cry? Like, are you okay? And I'm like, I was just so excited because I gave it to God, and He then was like, thank you. Here you go. And that was our first little girl, Sophia. And I'm so thankful for her. Um, and our second child was also a little miracle. We actually were trying, and we could not get pregnant at all. We had several miscarriages, and then um, didn't have any pregnancies. And finally, um, when both of us were just like, okay, well, we're not going to have a second kid. We have one kid. We're so thankful for her. And then boom, we got pregnant. So it was just amazing how God was trying to convey to us, like, give me your problems, give me your cares, and I will answer those for you. So when you really surrender something, you let it go. He heard you the first time. You don't need to keep repeating yourself. And it's so much better to just let it go and know it's in His hands. So, as you can see in the beginning, I was just like, oh, please, oh, please, oh, please. Like, He didn't hurt me. And I just think now that I am a parent, I really do not like it when my kids come up to me and keep bugging me about the same thing. And I just think, God is so much more loving and patient, but I'm sure He creates us in this way to show us how things are. When my kid asked me for something, I heard them. I don't need to keep hearing them like, oh, can we go to the park? And even if I say yes, they'll keep bugging, oh, when are we going to go? When are we going to go? When are we going to go? And so I just really like that imagery. Like now, from that experience, I'm not perfect. I don't get this every time, but I just remember that. And when I ask for something, I know that He heard me, and I know that I'll receive whatever it is I asked if it's in line with His will. And I'm just trusting Him and letting it go. And it's so freeing. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And if you would like to support a missionary that is going to spread the gospel in the 1040 window, I encourage you to visit afmonline.org. And there's a list of missionaries, there's a list of missionary candidates. We're on there, but there are also lots of other missionaries. If you yourself are interested in being a missionary, I would encourage you to visit that website and submit an interest form. So thanks again. God bless.